Welcome back to The Lead. I'm Jake Tapper. More now on our world lead. The Sony hack has pulled the curtain back on a dangerous and mysterious branch of the North Korean military, cyber soldiers, who North Korean defectors say are rigorously trained in the art of destruction, and their battlefield can be, well, pretty much anywhere in the world because they wage war from behind a computer screen. These North Korean hackers are said to be handpicked and trained at a secluded complex in Pyongyang known as Bureau 121, and from there, 1,800 or so agents travel throughout the globe. They're said to be infiltrating enemy nations, including the United States. Let's talk about this now with Himu Nigam, a cybersecurity expert and the former vice president of worldwide internet enforcement for the Motion Picture Association of America, along with Gordon Chang, a familiar guest on the show, a columnist for Forbes.com and the author of The Coming Collapse of China. Himu, let me start with you. What can you tell us about Bureau 121? How does it operate? What are these recruits being trained to do precisely?
Well, Bureau 121, I think the best way to call it is a very silent enemy that can create very loud noise when it hits. It's a bunch of incredibly intelligent individuals who are sitting around the world, taken care of by the government, getting all the resources they need, whose sole job is to figure out how to break into systems, either destroy them, change them, steal from them, leave notes on them. That's their job. It's in essence, an army of special forces individuals.
And Gordon, we were talking just a second ago with Congressman Mike McCaul, the chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee, about whether or not, if the United States retaliates against North Korea, if it officially announces that that's who they hold responsible, whether or not that will lead to a cyber war. What's your take?
Well, there will be escalation no matter what we do. For instance, for the last 2 decades, our companies have been attacked by North Korea, by China, by Russia, perhaps Iran. And we did very, very little. And that's the reason why we are today, because the North Koreans saw that they could go after Sony because they were pushing on an open door. That's really the problem. You know, there's the commission, the Blair-Huntsman Commission talked about the loss of intellectual property in the U.S., perhaps as much as $475 billion a year, much of that from cyber. We have done very, very little to protect our companies.
Himu, do you think Bureau 121 is behind the Sony hack on its own, or do you think that other nations might be involved? It's a very sophisticated attack.
Well, when it comes to the cyber side, cyber warfare has been going around, like you just heard, for many, many years. And I think the reality is not so much are other countries helping, but what are other hackers doing? Because right now, I think there's a bunch of hackers out there, whether they're working for a nation state or on their own, who are having a party because they're seeing the amount of damage you can do. Because this wasn't just an attack on Sony. Let's call it what it is. This was people who marched through U.S. security quietly in the middle of the night, entered into a building, caused all sorts of damage, and then decided to attack the American people by placing threats on them if they decide to go to the movies. Because in essence, it's attacking core American values. And that's why I think our discussion, and I'm glad you're having this, really needs to be around what is the White House going to do? Because they need to do something. Sony knows how to protect its network. It's going to do that. Hollywood is going to be focused unbelievably on doing that. I'm here in LA and I know that. But the real question is, can they fight a nation state or hackers like this who are acting like a nation state? And the answer is not really. That's where the government has to come in and do a public-private partnership.
Gordon, why is North Korea doing this? Is it really just about this one stoner movie that insults Kim Jong-un? Is that really what's motivating this?
I think they're really worried about regime survival. They are not concerned about theatrical release in the U.S. because North Korean citizens are not going to show up at your AMC. But what's happening is that South Korean activists have said that they were going to take DVDs of this movie, put them in balloons, were lofted over the demilitarized zone, which separates North and South Korea, so that North Korean citizens can find these DVDs. And that, I think, is important for the regime. And that's what they're really concerned about at the end of the day, is North Koreans seeing this.
Himu, has Sony's decision to pull the film, do you think, emboldened not just North Korea, but other countries who want to get at the U.S.?
Well, I think what's happened here is we've, in essence, negotiated with terrorists. And then it's unfortunate. I completely feel for Sony executives in the position that we're in, because you cannot have somebody getting hurt inside a movie theater going to watch a Sony movie. That would be the worst thing that could happen. So in a way, we all have to support it, but at the same time recognize that we've sent out a message. If you attack, whether you're a company or whether you're a hacker working for a government or not, there may be negotiation possibilities. So if you're an activist for some cause, you may do it. If you just don't like Americans, you may decide to do it. If you don't like corporate America, you may decide to do it. There's all sorts of things that are going to be inspired. So this is going to affect every channel of American society. And I think we can't just turn the channel here, write a script where Tom Cruise comes in and saves the day. It's not going to happen. This is going to have to be taken extremely seriously by the US government, working with its companies and corporations and making the American people feel better and feel like there's leadership in the White House, because that's exactly what it's going to need right now.
Hemu Nigam and Gordon Chang, thank you so much for being here, for talking about this important issue. We appreciate it.